What would you do if a loved one called you up, telling you that they were in danger, and there was absolutely nothing you could do about it? On the 8th of July 2014, Lars Mittank, a German national, vanished near Varna airport in Bulgaria. But this was no ordinary disappearance. His case stemmed from peculiar circumstances during his vacation at the Golden Sands Resort. After he was left alone in the country, nobody is sure what went wrong, but things got strange very quickly. His distress was evident when he reached out to his mother, expressing concerns that someone was actively pursuing him with harmful intentions. But how exactly did this entire ordeal begin? Welcome back to True Crime Investigation. Today, we're tackling the strange and wild case of Lars Mittank's disappearance. Imagine going on vacation and then, poof, vanishing into thin air. We're diving into all the crazy twists and turns of this story. Buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride. Lars Mittank was born on February 9, 1986, in Berlin, Germany. Lars Mittank's roots were in Itzehoe, Schleswig-Holstein, where he spent his entire life. His routine included work, a circle of friends, and a girlfriend, leading what seemed to be an ordinary life. Regular visits to his parents were part of his routine, and after his father's stroke, Lars would often lend a hand at their place, balancing his job and family responsibilities seamlessly. Employed at a Wilhelmshaven coal-fired power plant after completing his advanced training, balanced work, and visits to his family in Marni, roughly 150 kilometers away. He held immense affection for his job and his cherished soccer team, Werder Bremen. His father's 2012 stroke made Lars dedicated to supporting his parents. He cherished moments with friends and former soccer teammates, making these reunions a priority when on leave. He was known as an everyday guy, blending into the fabric of his community. He didn't have any enemies, and as far as his friends were concerned, nobody could have ever specifically targeted Lars over a feud or a past fight. But this one vacation proved to be fatal, leaving everybody confused about the consequences. On June 30, 2014, Mittank began his trip to Varna, marking his first journey beyond the borders of Germany. Accompanied by 5 friends, they set their vacation course for the Golden Sands, a picturesque beach destination adjacent to the city of Varna. And it's safe to say that Lars was in good spirits, fully looking forward to the days ahead of him. This trip was unusual for Lars, as it was a departure from his usual sports-oriented holidays like fishing and diving trips. His friend's vacation spot had a vacancy due to a friend's absence, leading Lars to join despite the unexpected nature of this outing, which he hadn't mentioned to his mother. The 6-member group jetted off to Varna on June 30, 2014, lodging at the 4-star all-inclusive hotel Viva. The Soccer World Cup coincided with their stay, with soaring noon temperatures reaching 40 degrees. Amidst the scorching heat, while others chose indoor activities, Lars engaged in beach soccer with high school grads, remembered by them as an amiable individual. Initially, nothing noteworthy occurred except Lars's reduced appetite, a detail often scrutinized by documentaries and amateur detectives. Yet, considering the intense heat, diminished hunger was understandable. Tim Schult observed him sticking to light meals. Despite this, he still consumed soups, salads, and fruit, evident from the accounts of a beach fruit vendor who warmly remembered Lars. On July 3rd, during the quarter-finals match between Costa Rica and the Netherlands at the Mystery of Golden Sands bar, Lars, clad in a Werder Bremen jersey, engaged in light-hearted flag exchanges. This playful act drew no issue except from a group of Bavarian high school graduates, which led to a brief confrontation eventually resolved. By the night's end, around 4 a.m., all seemed well despite the minor scuffle. On July 6, 2014, a day before their planned departure, the circumstances began to change. During a night out at a local bar, Mittank found himself in a disagreement with fellow German nationals, supporters of Bayern Munich, conflicting with his allegiance to the Werder Bremen football club. On the way back, Tim and Paul opted for a detour to McDonald's on their way to the hotel, which wasn't far from the bar. Despite their plans to grab a bite, Lars, not a fan of McDonald's due to a shift toward healthier eating habits and being dedicated to sports, declined, choosing instead to head straight to the hotel, roughly 1 kilometer away. During his walk, Lars recounted an altercation with individuals he identified as Russians or Bulgarians, suspecting they might have been hired by Bayern fans. Earlier that evening at the bar, he overheard a conversation suggesting it was easy in Bulgaria to hire someone for such actions at a low cost. The confrontation left him relatively unscathed, except for a harsh blow to his left ear, which he later discovered had torn his eardrum. When he got back to the resort the next morning, he recounted the troubling story to his friends, stating that he had been attacked by 4 men, supposedly hired by the individuals he had clashed with at the bar. The next morning he called his girlfriend, sharing the incident and the discomfort in his ear. She urged him repeatedly to visit a doctor, concerned about his well-being. However, Lars assumed that finding a doctor open on weekends might prove challenging and hoped his ear would heal swiftly. Throughout the evening they continued celebrating together, but the following days were more relaxed as they neared the end of their vacation. By Monday, July 7th, their checkout day, Lars still grappled with ear pain, contemplating the repercussions of flying with an injured ear, especially crucial for his job at the power plant. His employer ensured regular medical checks for employees, emphasizing safety and quality, a job Lars deeply valued. Concerned about his condition, Lars, accompanied by a friend, sought medical attention at a general practitioner's office around lunchtime on July 7th. The diagnosis confirmed a ruptured eardrum, grounding him from flying. He received a referral to St. Anna Hospital in Varna, and the document was available upon request. Before heading to the hospital, they returned to the hotel, deliberating on the best course of action. The doctor advised against flying due to his injuries, prescribing the antibiotic cefprozil. Despite his friend's willingness to stay by his side, Mittank assured them he'd manage solo and insisted they stick to their original travel plan. He said that he would rely on his foreign travel insurance to arrange transportation home. Reluctantly, his friends departed as scheduled on July 7th, while Mittank remained behind, dealing with the aftermath of the altercation. Later on, they would regret this decision because this was the last time they were going to see their dear friend. On July 7th at around 8 p.m., a shuttle transported Lars's friends to the airport, while Lars took a cab to St. Anna Hospital in Varna. At approximately 8:40 p.m., he reached the ENT specialist's office. Lars felt the doctor derided him using an uncommon word, which held significant weight for Sandra, his mother. Unfortunately, the specialist didn't communicate in English, refusing to comprehend Lars's concerns, leading to a lack of admission but a bill of 120 leva, which was around 60 euros. Despite the denial, Lars was given a prescription for Kefzil 500. Around 9:41 p.m., the same cab awaited Lars outside the hospital. It drove him to the first pharmacy, but as they only had 10 tablet packs instead of the prescribed 20, they ventured to a second pharmacy by 10:05 p.m. There, Lars acquired the antibiotic and directed the driver to a budget-friendly hotel. Upon reaching Hotel Color at 10:10 p.m., located on a remote side street, Lars noticed a store nearby but refrained from entering due to some dubious figures lingering outside. He compensated the cab driver generously, thanked him, and settled the hotel bill via credit card, later mentioning to his mother that the receptionist had copied his card details. After checking in, Lars settled into his room. Later, seeking water to take his medication, he visited the hotel bar. Around 11 p.m., he phoned his mother, asking her to recharge his non-smartphone. Sandra noted Lars seemed distressed, recounting an altercation with soccer fans, the hospital's unkind treatment, and his discomfort. Lars also requested assistance from foreign health insurance for patient transport back home. Following the call, Sandra arranged for the insurance and got a file number. Lars then alarmed her about the hotel, expressing unease as they had copied his credit card, an uncommon procedure. He insisted on card cancellation, believing he could unlock it later, which Sandra learned was impossible from the bank staff. Despite having enough cash, Sandra blocked the card. Moreover, she booked a bus ticket departing at 11:30 p.m. the next day from the Varna bus station, ensuring Lars had an alternative if unable to fly. Sandra advised Lars to rest, foreseeing strenuous days ahead. but he soon called again, hinting something was amiss with the hotel. Unable to articulate specifics, Sandra suspected he felt surveilled, potentially overhearing or being heard due to thin walls. Lars concluded the call, stating, "I have to get out of here." The ambiance quickly shifted after his companions left. His demeanor morphed into a state of paranoia, a transformation that happened because he felt all alone. Inside the hotel's surveillance footage, his restless pacing through corridors was captured. He was seen cautiously glancing out windows and even spending some moments of seclusion within the confines of an elevator. But things went south very quickly from there on. Around 1 a.m., Mittank abruptly left the hotel, only to return approximately an hour later, his activities during that lapse shrouded in mystery. The morning brought another call to his mother, expressing growing anxiety as he claimed the approach of his pursuers. While talking to his mother, he never revealed who these threatening figures were. He would just be filled with anxiety and panic, leaving his mother helpless in the process. On July 8th at 3:15 a.m., Lars sent a text to Sandra asking about the antibiotic Cefzil 500. Sandra, assuming Lars was in hiding, refrained from calling but promptly booked a flight scheduled to depart Varna Airport at 4:20 p.m., landing in Hamburg at 9:45 p.m. To reconstruct events, Sandra and investigators traced the possible route Lars took at night, suspecting the four men pursuing him might have intended robbery due to his distinct yellow shirt and Adidas bag, making him easily identifiable in the dark. With worry gnawing at her, Sandra remained awake, eagerly awaiting news from Lars. Around 5 a.m., a cab driver spotted Lars, signaling desperately by the roadside. Despite a passenger already in the cab, the driver picked up Lars, dropping him off at Varna Airport at 5 a.m. Both the driver and the passenger noted Lars's dilated pupils, the cause of which remains uncertain. Upon arrival, Lars contacted his mother, narrating his journey and expressing his relief. With a nearly drained phone battery, conversations with Sandra were concise. He requested money via Western Union, having learned about it from a man he met, explaining its workings to Sandra, surprising her with his clarity of explanation despite their unfamiliarity with the system. Sandra, perceiving his coherent state, provided flight and bus ticket details, advising him to note them down manually in case of a dead phone battery. She planned to provide the Western Union reference after consulting a doctor, setting a random amount of 500 euros as Lars hadn't specified the sum. She encouraged him to see the airport doctor regarding his fitness to travel. Before visiting the doctor, Lars claimed that they wouldn't let him fly or drive, citing his disheveled appearance. Sandra urged him to freshen up, reassured by his initial explanation from the first doctor's visit. After finishing Western Union formalities, Sandra called again but only heard murmurs, assuming Lars was freshening up. Sadly, this became their final conversation. Despite her subsequent attempts, Lars didn't answer. Meanwhile, Lars made his way to the airport doctor's office at 9 a.m. The consultation lasted 42 minutes. Dr. Kostow examined Lars's ear, prescribed drops, noted a normal temperature, and offered tablets, declined by Lars due to his previous bad experience. The doctor reassured Lars he could fly after signing a waiver. Despite reassurances from Kostow regarding his fitness to travel home, Mittank remained inside the doctor's office, questioning the prescribed medication. A sudden disturbance ensued as a construction worker entered the room, leading Mittank to tremble uncontrollably. He said that he doesn't want to die there and wants to leave, even though no threat was being posed to him at that moment. After exclaiming that, he fled the office hastily, abandoning all his belongings, including his wallet, cell phone, and passport. Surveillance footage showed his escape from the terminal, sprinting away from the airport, scaling a fence, vanishing into a meadow, and dashing toward the nearby Bulgarian National Highway A2, eventually disappearing into the adjacent forest. These crucial moments remain his last known movements, a puzzling vanishing act. Now we will discuss the theories about his disappearance. There exists a lack of consensus among experts and Mittank's relatives regarding the root causes behind his behavior and the actuality of his paranoia. Mittank's mother, together with doctors from Bulgaria and Germany, speculated that his unusual conduct might have been an unusual reaction to the prescribed antibiotic, cefprozil, a cephalosporin known to occasionally trigger psychotic effects like hallucinations and paranoia. Nonetheless, according to Kostov, the airport doctor Mittank hadn't been adhering to his medication regimen, leading to doubts about the antibiotic's role in his actions. Kostov mentioned how he didn't take those antibiotics and how he didn't even fill out his prescription, leaving everyone perplexed by Mittank's panicky departure from the office. While his mother affirmed his lack of prior mental health issues, the notion of a potential mental breakdown stemming from an undiagnosed condition has been deliberated upon. Dr. Todd Grande, a certified mental health counselor and content creator who delved into Lars Mittank's case, asserted that Mittank didn't have any previous history of mental health issues. One of the prevalent speculations revolves around the idea that Mittank might have been seeking a reason to escape and embark on a new life. Dr. Grande considered the possibility of Mittank experiencing first-break psychosis, a condition doubted by Grande due to Mittank's healthy relationships with his close ones. Despite feeling concerned about flying alone, his friends offered to delay their flight. Additionally, Mittank maintained contact with his mother via text messages during the trip. When he fled, Mittank left behind critical possessions like his passport, phone, and wallet, contradicting the notion of a planned disappearance. Another theory suggests Mittank might have been involved in clandestine activities unknown to his family or authorities, such as potential links to illegal enterprises like drug trafficking. However, the lack of substantial evidence weakens this theory's validity, as there is limited support to substantiate such claims. There is an additional conjecture that Mittank might have met with foul play. While in Bulgaria, he expressed his concerns about being followed by his mother. Numerous online investigators suspect the altercation at the bar might have led to individuals pursuing Mittank. This scenario provides a plausible explanation for Mittank's sudden escape and could potentially elucidate the mystery surrounding the absence of his remains. But what if these people didn't exist at all? One more theory circles the idea that Lars might have been affected by drugs during the time he vanished. There's speculation that the antibiotic cefprozil, prescribed to heal his ruptured eardrum, potentially combined with another substance, might have triggered a psychotic episode, a notion some people consider. It might seem unusual, but it's not entirely untrue. Side effects like dizziness, restlessness, and hyperactivity are commonly associated with the medication. Moreover, some studies suggest that certain antibiotics could lead to acute psychosis, indicating that someone without a history of mental health issues might experience a sudden shift in behavior. While the cefprozil could have played a role, it might not have been the sole cause of Mittank's condition. Dr. Grande, in his video, puts forth the idea that Mittank might have experienced what's known as first-break psychosis, or the onset of a condition like schizophrenia. This could potentially elucidate Mittank's paranoia, delusions, and anxiety, offering a plausible explanation for the unusual behavior captured in the Lars Mittank video available on YouTube. Although Dr. Grande leans towards the psychosis theory as the most plausible, he emphasizes that it doesn't entirely clarify why Mittank fled or why his whereabouts remain a mystery to this day. What occurred to Mittank after his airport dash remains an enigma. Authorities couldn't ascertain Mittank's fate, leading his mother to enlist private investigator Andreas Gutig. Despite checking hospital records, no trace surfaced. Considering the harsh summer conditions and food scarcity, Mittank's outdoor skills, like hunting and fishing, sparked speculation about his survival capabilities. Sandra Mittank holds on to hope, believing her son might still be alive, perhaps grappling with memory loss. Reported sightings in various countries surfaced but lacked confirmation. In a notable incident, a German truck driver provided a lift to a hitchhiker resembling an older Mittank, noting distinct features: an elongated hairdo, a beard, weary eyes, and noticeable cheekbones. Labeled as the most famous missing person on YouTube, Mittank's airport footage garnered over 16 million views in less than 4 years. The perplexing case sparked various theories, fostering regular discussions, yet its resolution remains elusive. Mittank is cataloged as 180 centimeters tall, sporting dark blonde hair and a scar on his left forearm, in case anyone ever spots him around. This brings us to the end of the case of Lars Mittank's disappearance. What do you think? Is he still alive out there somewhere away from the rest of the world? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe while you're at it.